Alrighty, so we have our shapes. Now we're going to think about some color here. I'm going to pick the marker first. Go to settings. I need to make this bigger. I'm going to pick a color. And the great thing about this is you can layer your colors. So if you start and you don't like it, of course you have the back button, but you need to start what I call blocking in color here. Not really adding detail yet, just filling the shapes that you've decided are adequate or good enough for your drawing. And this takes some time, so hopefully this should be relaxing, right? If you're stressing and rushing this, it'll show up in your work. I'm just going to continue on coloring. So again, no detail. But taking your time. So I already drew this today and I thought I recorded it. Nope, I did not. So I guess I'm getting extra practice. That's the one thing you find with technology. Sometimes you got to double check, make sure that you're saving your work. So as you're doing this, if your computer or phone has been glitchy, make sure you try and save it as you go, right? Because you don't want to do all this work then for it to crash and not be saved, because that is a nightmare. Been there too. All right, so I got the body of my container, and I'm going to switch it to a lighter value because I want to color the squirting portion or the mechanical portion of it. Again, not a lot of detail in this. I'm using a marker, so the marker will show darker lines underneath, and for this part of the drawing it's helpful because inside this clear plastic area there are moving parts, and to emphasize that, it works out that the marker can do that because it shows the lighter color underneath. There's also some reflection on my bottle. I can add a little bit of that if it shows up. It shows up a little bit, but I might have to switch to a different material. So then I'm going to go down to my orange. Again, I'm just blocking it in. I'm using marker right now, but I'm going to move away from, in my app right here, depending on yours, there are other things I can do. So I can flip my screen. There's my back button on that lower left. If I wanted to use my dropper, eraser, there's some quick tools right there. Okay, I liked it the other way, so. I think in my other picture I used the acrylic brush at this point. It's funny to think that in real life you can't really mix acrylic and oil, but in this app you can. All right. It's not perfect. And actually the onion color-wise is similar to the orange. The shape is not necessarily very similar, but okay, making some progress. So I like the way that looks. It does have a background, so I'm going to work on adding that. Sitting on like a counter. Again, blocking in features here. No detail yet. A lot of what people might call mistakes happening. That's all right. And again, no stylus for me, just the finger. All right, liking that. Can make it a little smaller just to check it out. Okay, good progress. Now I'm going to think about values, so lights and darks. The darkest object I have in my picture is the bottle, but even on that there are lighter areas. On the orange and underneath the orange there are darker areas, so let's see. I'm going to pick a darker color. I'm also going to switch my means of mark making to acrylic paint. So the thing with the acrylic is it'll blend a little bit with the colors that it touches, so you got to be careful, like real paint. All right. Can be a little frustrating if you don't like it, but so right there it's a little dark, but that's okay for now because I can put a lighter color on top. Just trying to put in the areas that are a little darker. So on the top of the onion there is a kind of skin to it, and a shadow down there, making that smaller. Okay, not perfect, but again, just making some changes as I go. And contrast to that, on the bottle there are lighter areas, so let's see if I can get some highlights. Yep, so the oil paint will show up on this, sorry, the acrylic paint.
It's 10:40.
All right.
What's the next question to do? ELA. Is there a project you're working on?
Little label down here, so I'm beginning to think about detail, but I'm not spending a ton of time on it. So let's try and go back to the orange.
Any other classes, but there's. Yeah, but if you have any makeup work to do. Did you just hate breakfast?
I'm going to zoom in on my little orange here. And yep, I can layer the color. really liking that color though, I'll tell you. So I just held my finger down on the screen. I was able to pick my dropper tool, my target. And I want to go back and rework some of this orange. Blends a little bit, which is fine. All right, little mandarin. So I want to there's slightly darker value, not as dramatic as it was. Make that a little darker. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So if you make a mistake with the technology, it's not as hard to change it as if you were in class and you had to go and remake all your colors. It'd be a real pain. All right. Go a little lighter for some of the lighter areas. Yep, like that. Like that. And I'm really looking at what's in front of me. I'm not guessing, all right? If you guess where the shading and light should go, it's going to show up. All right. I could even go a little lighter than that. It's kind of really bright looking. The mandarin does have dimples. So how do we do the dimples? Let's pick a darker value first. I'm going to switch my tool to, I think it was the airbrush, yep. Don't like the airbrush, let me see. No, let me try the pencil. There we go. So all I'm doing is moving my finger kind of side to side in one spot. It's giving the suggestion of the dimple. Mm-hmm. Let me zoom in on that. Not looking too bad. Okay, the onion, on the other hand, does need a lot of attention. Okay, so let's see. I did pick, so the onion is in the orange color family, so I'm just going to slide up to a lighter value. I am going to go back to that acrylic brush setting. Let me just focus on the orange, so I mean the onion. I see some greens in here and some different colors, so Be a little too green. Well, let's put it in and see how it looks. Made it a little lighter. Still has some of that other showing up, which is fine. Just switch my tool to a pencil for a second. There's our details up here where the onion was attached. Need to work on that a little bit. Gonna darken the value. And some lines to my onion. Boop. I want to get rid of that. So, I wanted to switch back to the brush. Maybe make it a little smaller. And smaller again. And it's blending with what has come before it, and I kind of like that. Okay, so just check it out. Making some progress with the onion. I'm going to stop right there for now.